Good evening and welcome to the All Around Natural Beauty RN channel. And I'll just take one moment so I can get set up here because we live. We live happening action here. Thank y'all so much for coming in here and hitting that like button on your way in. Welcome to the All Around Natural Beauty RN channel where we're going live and we're discussing the topic of justice for Shanquella and the interview that Miss Nancy Grace has provided for us. We have been discussing this now for about 8 days, and we've been going through like a roller coaster. We've been going ups and downs with if we weren't sure if we could believe the Mexican reporter. We was doubting and pointing the fingers at multiple people, and we didn't have anybody we could trust. And we were all putting the energy out there, praying for our country, for our government to do something. And out of the heavens came the voice of Nancy Grace, excuse me, somebody we all know, somebody who's well respected and is an American and a woman, and an attorney too, because we had issues with we were getting some help from the lead attorney, and y'all was throwing rocks at that. And now we have some new information by hopefully somebody that will is satisfying for everybody. We all know Miss Nancy Grace and appreciate the energy that she has kept alive on this case. So us standing here getting the justice for Shanquella is going to open the door for justice for all of the other victims and stuff like that. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to see how much love y'all providing and y'all coming back and we just keeping it going and stuff. So I'm gonna take a few moments and shout out some people here. Superstar Graham says Nancy Grace is good. I'll be back. So he got in here early to show the support for Nancy Grace, what she's doing here for us, y'all. Right? Because remember, we were feeling hopeless, like we didn't have anybody. We had to wait for the Mexican reporter, and now we have somebody on our side. So it's going to be very interesting tonight. And so I just want to thank all my new subscribers and the returning subscribers too, y'all. We really building a nice community here, and every day it's getting greater and greater. All right, y'all making me feel so great here. Jackie Barty says, I don't read the chat enough to be mad. I watch on my TV mostly. Great. And on that note, we're going to start real quick. I want to just read some comments from, some people that have been coming by. And all right, before we get started though. All right. Hey, Tanika. And see Tina Marie. Hey, Tina Marie. Hello, everyone. All right. I'm loving seeing these repeat persons. Poetic Kel says, good evening, beauties. I am finally at home chilling on this heavy, rainy evening. Okay, where you at with the rain? It's a little cloudy, but no rain. Oh, you look so lovely. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. And Renee Jones, Justice for Shanquella, thank you so much. Yes, and that's what we're doing here. We're binding together, lift our voices for justice for Shanquella. Good evening from Superstar Graham. All right. And we're just, letting everybody come in here. Good evening to everyone. Thank you, Renee, all my beauties and beautifuls. Thank y'all so much. All right. M Mac, hey, salute at All Natural Beauty and the chat. Yes, we take the time here to embrace each other and support one another. That's what we're doing here. We're getting down. This platform is not for one person. It's for all of us. This is our community. And that's how we're doing it here. Yes, justice for Shanquella. Yes. Thank y'all so much for coming in, hitting that like button too on your way in here. All right. Yes, good evening. All right. Yes, I love what Nancy Grace is doing. She's going to help keep this case alive. Exactly. And that's why I want to put it out here, because just a few days ago, everyone in here we were sad and feeling, everyone was feeling emotional, like, we weren't going to get any justice, like it was being swept under the carpet. And then here we were at the liberty of waiting for some interpreted information, right? And we had problems with that and stuff. I'm just excited that someone with this amount of fire and this amount of energy and also a legal background. So we're gonna get some. We're gonna get something. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that. Very grateful for that. Thank you so much, Nancy Grace. All right, Superstar Graham said, praying for her family and her friends. Yes, 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 yes. All right. Oh, I'm in Georgia. Okay, so we kind of have similar weather too. So we had a little bit of rain a little bit earlier. Georgia has an attitude today, so it's raining all day. Oh, yuck. All right. So before we super get started, I want to take a moment so I can read through some of these new comments. And someone was requesting, asking for prayers and stuff like that too. So we're gonna take a moment here. Like I said, we don't do moments of silence. We do moments of speaking. No more being silent, holding in secrets, and protecting these abusers. So victims, we speaking. We are speaking the names of the victims. We speaking the names of the abusers. So no more secrets. All right. So let me see here. Share the screen. Okay, here we go. These comments that I'm going to be reading is from the first video that I started with Shanquella, and it's 10 days ago. And this video really has been taken off and been, a lot of people have been getting a lot of help from it. It's helped a lot of people. It's helped me, and it's a great video. But we have to identify some of these people. So there's going to be some some narcissistic people over here. There's going to be some people that's going to try to get us distracted, right? So this first comment here, for the most part, we can see there's 91 comments, and most of these comments are positive and hopeful and wishing prayers and safety and all that good stuff. But here we have a comment from someone named O, right? And it says, I wanted to be informed but couldn't watch this because she talked much regarding other stories instead of the subject, Shanquella Robinson. And then she puts a swear word right here, or he or she puts a swear word. So I go, people like this make a comment like that, so super sad. Here's a 9 hour and 21-minute video where we had a lot of good energy off up in there. And then you get these kind of comments. So a good thing to do is you look at it, right? Look at the person here. See, they're just hiding. No picture, no face. They're not even saying anything, yet they're trying to be a distraction by being negative. So these kind of people, you just kind of highlight them so you don't get distracted with this is baloney garbage. All right. Okay. So I messed up my good comments that I wanted to read. Let me go back over there because there are so many positive comments, and I just don't want anybody to see that and get distracted or feel like they have to go back and forth with somebody like that. Give those people a little energy, right? Because they didn't even have to put out a crappy comment like that. Senseless. So I'm excited about the community that we're providing here, and we're giving people time to come in here. We're gonna get started off too with you just get this one comment that I wanted to highlight here, that we had the request for the prayer. I want to make sure that we call out the name for this person that was asking for the prayer. And okay, and this one here seems to be pretty important. There's a long comment here, so I'm going to take a few minutes to read this one off here too. And I'm proud of our community here. When we do have people that come up and give their testimony, they're being embraced with love and offered roses and hugs and all that good stuff. So here we have another comment, and I'm hoping that this one is positive. I hadn't read it yet. Okay, so this one's from Monica Witt. It says, I do believe that Shanquella Robinson's friend of 9 years birthday with his friends set her up, and when the girl made her take off all her clothes, but they supposed to get naked too. None of the girls had kept they clothes on when Dejanay Jackson, which is born a boy, broke 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson's, cracked her neck. She can't move. She was in a lot of pain. That when she went into convulsion. Okay, we're gonna move on down from that one. This one's a heavy one, y'all. It's on the same video. If anybody wants to go there and read those comments there. This one's it's a little sensitive, so I'll just leave that for the good people there. That's out there. All right, so back over here to y'all again. Let's see here. Yes. Thank you, Poetic Kells. So what we're going to do is just kind of get our whistle wet a little bit. One of my the lady from Unbiased, Unballs, she does an excellent job with condensing this long content and really getting things started. So we're going to, before we get started on Nancy Grace video, it's just going to be audio. It was on a podcast. We're going to, kind of get a few of the questions that we had out in the community before Nancy Grace got started. So let's see here. Okay, Superstar Graham says, there's a carbon monoxide case from Mexico too with 4 people that passed. Yes, I heard too during the same time that Shanquella passed too, right? I believe. All right, so the first video is going to be a short, and we had questions about the FBI when we were told that there was an arrest made. First, we were told that there was an arrest warrant issued, and then there was arrest made, and then someone else said there was a difference between being detained and arrest. All these different things. So I want to play this here from Unbiased, Unbossed. It's a real quick little short, but it's going to kind of set the stage and give us an idea of what really the government is providing here for us, so we can all just relax, because it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time before all this gets done here. Let me see here. All right, so go here. One moment. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, I see.
Your territorial unit.
All right, here we go. All right, I'm going to share the screen. We're going to play this quick short and kind of get the juices flowing.
Alexis, is it possible? It's one of the reasons that the FBI is involved now, because they have a unit called the extraterritorial unit for crimes when you get a request from foreign governments to help them investigate cases for crimes against U.S. citizens, which I'm sure you're very well aware of that. How we're going to prove this? Social media, it's all digital. And through subpoenas, we're going to get IP addresses. We're going to get who owns the phone that sent that. We're going to get the accounts. We're going to get everything. It's just going to slowly start to unwind on, one, who owned the phone that shot that video, who posted that. And this case with that video is just probably the most key piece of evidence that any investigator wishes they had on so many other crimes. It's people just don't think. And social media has cleared so many crimes because people don't think and they want to brag. This is one of the reasons that
Okay, so this is coming from an FBI, an expert from the FBI, right? So, I know I was concerned about if they were going to, get not a fair case, but if they were going to actually be prosecuted and held responsible over in Mexico. So it's good to know. And I was hoping that the FBI, was looking off into all this stuff, because it just broke my heart to know that this happened back in October, and the people are still walking around like, like nothing happened, So it's good to know that, the FBI has all this stuff. Everything's been documented. It's on the cloud. So it's just a matter of time. It's like, it's just a matter of time before, they all get tracked down. So I'm feeling very confident that we're going to get some justice here. I'm just super grateful that Nancy, came in, and now it's like shining more light onto it, getting the voices more up together. So super important that we continue with what we're doing here. So okay, here we go. Somebody else said something. Superstar Graham says, wheels of justice is turning slow, but it's turning. I agree. So just like the FBI voice said that, they already have this stuff on, and they're just waiting for subpoenas to be able to, it's going to be point and click, and, it's going to be super simple because everything now is automated. Everything now is videoed, and, it's going to be, it's going to be easy to do. So a lot of times, these people that do this stuff, especially these young people putting everything up on social media, is now really coming to bite them back in the buttocks. Okay. Poetic Kel says, right, just kicking it. Yeah, it's like, is there going to be an interrogation soon? Exactly. Like, I feel like, has anybody been questioned? Like, what's going on? Like, here we're going on month number 3, and y'all still chilling, still free. Yeah, I feel you on that one. Hey, Tito says, justice has to be served. The Cabo Six cannot get away with this. I agree. Yep. All right. No, they're trying to turn it into a cold case. And that's why we got to keep putting the fuel on it by, keeping this out in the open, keep talking about it, and then talking about the people before her, all of the women before her and stuff, and really, really putting this out. Let's see here. I'm waiting for mug shots. I know that would be nice. Okay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with listening to what Nancy's got to say. The audio, the podcast is 48 minutes long. So we'll be taking little breaks in between time, and to, keep continuing to connect our dots, right? So is that it? Yeah, here we go. Connecting the dots. Oh. How that sound, y'all? Is it too loud?
Do you have a little girl? Because I do. I've got a little girl and a little boy.
Thank you,
Not so
Tylee.
little anymore. And I got to tell you, the time, the energy, the love.
Let me read this disclaimer real quick, y'all. Ty Lieber, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are a lifesaver. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976. Allowances made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, education, and research. Thank you so much. Let's get this.
The worry, the money, the everything you pour into them to help them advance just one more step in life. I just want you to imagine this. I can hardly even say this with my daughter in my mind. You get your beautiful, wonderful girl through high school. She's fabulous. You get her to college. She's on the verge of graduating. So proud. She goes on a little girls' getaway, girls' weekend. Then you get a call that she's dead. Just let that soak in just for a moment. You get a call, your baby is dead. Because that is what happened to Miss Robinson, Miss Salamondra Robinson. Her beautiful girl, the world in front of her, on the verge of graduating Winston-Salem State in business, goes away for a girl's getaway. And now she's dead. Not at the hands of some masked intruder, not a drive-by shooting, on a girl's getaway with her friends. How can she be dead in the hotel room? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Fox Nation and Sirius XM 111 with me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now. But I want you to hear
all-star panel,
her mother, who is with us right now, as she was speaking to CBS.
I received a call on Saturday saying that my daughter was sick and that she had alcohol poison. But a doctor had never arrived, so I don't know where he got the alcohol poison from. So at that time, they said a doctor was on the way to examine her, and she wasn't responding as they told me. Said she was resting a little bit, but she wasn't all the way responding as normal. I told them to keep me informed, and I wanted to know why they couldn't take her to the emergency room. They said because they needed $5,000 cash to be seen in the emergency room. And I said, well, she has insurance. And they said they didn't take insurance by being out the country.
I mean, this girl actually worked in the insurance field. Everything that I just heard is a lie. Everything that this mother was told about the death of her baby girl is a lie.
Wow.
Assume nothing. When you go into an investigation, you believe nobody and no thing that you hear.
Wow.
How in the HELL is this girl resting as opposed to being taken down to the emergency room?
Now, y'all see Nancy from the Jump Street is already saying that the bologna sandwich is being fed right from the beginning, right? So we was all in tune with that. So I'm just excited that even she's getting it too. And she's really speaking out for us here in this situation here. I'm excited. Let's just keep going. We
to HELL with the price. She is dead. She is dead and was never taken to the ER. Yeah. And I don't buy for 1 minute that this girl, this beautiful young 25-year-old girl, was resting. That's total BS. Now, listen to this.
I told them just keep me informed, and they did call back, but they still saying it was alcohol poison. So, but later on that evening, they called and said that Shanquella had passed. And at that point, it just took my heart crumbled up, just knowing my child was gone and I couldn't get there to her, could not do anything. And they said the medics came, 3 medics came, and no one couldn't do anything, couldn't save her.
I'm so mad right now I could chew a nail in half. Joining me, an all-star panel to make sense of the facts as we know them right now, keeping in mind that everything we're learning right now is a lie.
Wow.
I want to go to her mother. I want to go to Shanquella's mother. With me, Mrs. Salamondra Robinson. Miss Robinson, I cannot tell you how sorry I am for what you and your family are going through. When I leave the children at school in the morning and I see that phone ring, I'm already in the car on the way because I know something's wrong. And I cannot imagine how you felt when you get a call that something is wrong with your girl and she's resting and she can't come to the phone to talk to you. Oh, hell no. What happened? Just take it from the top, if you don't mind, Miss Robinson.
Well, like I said, they was saying that she was resting and she wasn't really responding. That's why they called the ambulance. And when the ambulance got there, they said the ambulance was working on her. And as I got from reports saying that the ambulance was working on her for 2 to 3 hours, but no one ever decided to take her to.
Now, see, there's never a time where an ambulance, y'all know, if there is some type of an accident, right, or someone calls the ambulance, they come there, they're just going to get you stabilized to put you on that gurney and get you to the hospital. There's never a time that the ambulance people, the paramedics are going to be working on you at the scene unless they're trying to establish an airway and do some life-saving measures to get you to the hospital. No one's working in the field for hours, right? So those are lies, more lies right there. More lies right there. Here we go.
In the hospital.
Now, here's another thing. How can you be resting and unresponsive? Like when did they try to get her to talk to you on the phone? Well, start at the beginning. When you get the call, where are you?
When I got the call, I was out eating.
Okay, so you were what, in North Carolina?
Yes.
So North Carolina time, it was what, 7:00 at night?
It would have been about 6 or 7.
Okay, so she is in San José del Cabo, Mexico. So that I think would have been 3 hours behind. Like they're on California time, correct?
Yes.
So 4 p.m. their time, 7 p.m. ish your time. You get a call. And who called you?
Shalea Cook.
Who's that?
That's what been her best friend.
Did you say Shalea Cook?
No, Kalia Cook.
Oh, the man.
Oh, that's the guy.
And he was a friend of hers. He had gone on family vacations. You knew him, right?
Yes.
Okay. Were they romantically involved?
No.
Okay. Just a friend. Look, it happens. A lot of people can't believe that can happen. I've had a best friend since law school, a best friend man, study partners the whole way through. So it does happen. So Kalia Cook is her friend, and he calls you, correct?
Yes.
And he says what to you?
That Shanquella wasn't feeling good. He thinks she had drunk too much. She had alcohol poison. And I said, what is alcohol poison? Because I didn't even know what alcohol poison was.
Wow.
Okay, with me, someone that can answer that question very well, Dr. Kendall Crowns, Chief Medical Examiner, Fort Worth, lecturer at University of Texas and Texas A&M, faculty, University of Texas Medical Branch. Dr. Crowns, what is alcohol poisoning?
Alcohol poisoning is when you get so much alcohol in your system that it actually is fatal to your body. Alcohol can be toxic to your heart and also your liver. So when you have a really, really high level of alcohol, it can cause basically poisoning of these organ systems. So it's usually seen in someone who has been binge drinking, and the standard alcohol level is legal limit is about 0.08 in most jurisdictions. And once you get into a 0.3, 0.4 area, most people will have so much alcohol on board that it will kill them. And that is a lot of alcohol.
Yes.
Okay, so, hold on. I'm trying to reconcile what you're saying with what Miss Robinson was told. Take a listen to our friend Victor Canado.
On October 29th, one of the guests staying at the resort called for help around 2 p.m. Upon arriving, medical professionals were informed that Robinson had drunk a lot of alcohol. A doctor reportedly says she was stable but dehydrated, suggesting she may be treated at a hospital. The guests insisting she remain at the villa. A police report stating Robinson went into cardiac arrest and was declared deceased around 6 p.m.
There you go. That's why she didn't go to the hospital. Did you hear that? The guests, her girlfriends, insisted she stay there at the hotel.
I think that part is more story too, because by the time they got on the scene, she was already expired. So I think this is part of the story for sure.
That's why she wasn't taken to the hospital. Now, wait a minute. She went into cardiac arrest, according to what we just heard. But none of this is fitting together. Take a listen to our friends at ABC.
But those reports differing from an autopsy obtained by ABC News stating that medical professionals arrived at the villa around 3 p.m. and declared her dead within 15 minutes, citing that Robinson died from a severe spinal cord injury and a dislocated neck.
For this to happen to her is just terrible. I just couldn't believe it. It's like I'm still asleep, like a nightmare.
We at Wondery.
All right. While we letting this commercial pass on through here, I appreciate these comments. This is excellent here. I want to go back and say this from Superstar Grams. FYI, the local clinic near the villa that they stayed in does take insurance. because that's like a very important question. If you go on a vacation to like a tourist resort, you're expecting that, your insurance is going to cover you, that you're not, in case you have an accident or something, that you're not going to just be left out in the cold. I don't think that it would even be possible to be at a tourist resort and, your medical insurance be denied. And then too, when in the case of some type of life-saving event, no one's thinking about insurance. Doctors, hospitals aren't thinking about insurance. When there's an emergency, you save the life first and then you worry about insurance. Like, so that's a good point. I thank you so much for bringing that out, Superstar Graham. That the clinic does take insurance. So we know that's a lie. T. Tiller says, exactly. They never stay there for 3 hours. That's, when I was saying how the ambulance, they don't stay there for no 3 hours. No one does that. No one does that. Yes. And the Poetic Hill says, but how was he able to convince her to pay for them? All right, I missed that one there. Good question. And I see T. Taylor says, I believe she may have been deceased for a while before they even called for help. Exactly, because we saw that the medical report says, the death certificate says the lifespan for that injury is 15 minutes. So, and they kind of incriminate themselves by saying that it took an hour for the doctor to get there. So we already know that it was impossible for her to still be here if her life expectancy was 15 minutes. And Superstar Graham says, imagine the fear that Shanquella felt while getting beat. Yes. Yeah, that breaks my heart every time I think about what happens, with that injury and how helpless the person is. Like I was saying, I've worked a lot with the quadriplegics, and when they would have the muscle spasms and, accidentally pop off the ventilator, there's no sound. So you can't scream or yell for help because you need the oxygen in order to be able to make sounds, right? So, they were at the, liberty to make sure that the nurse could hear the ventilator alarm and, so you can go over there and put them back together. Otherwise, within, a few minutes, these people are going to be out of luck, right? Poetic Hill says, she was already gone before any paramedics hit the scene. Exactly. And Superstar Graham says, they also have an American staff at the hospital. Yes, a few YouTubers called on live. Okay. Yeah. Because I was thinking too, I was like, unless they were out like in the wilderness or something like that, I don't understand how, there would be no way to get medical help. This is 2022. And with, people traveling and all that stuff, there's no way that you could be in a luxury resort and not be denied help, right? Yeah. This was premeditated. Yeah, we were thinking that too. I think a little bit further off in this here interview, you're going to talk about too the possibility that it was premeditated and what that looks like as far as like what kind of crimes they could be charged with here in the States. So we don't have to necessarily keep waiting for the Mexican government to do something, Mexican authorities to do something. All right, so let's see. We get back over here to this here interview and share the screen here. See about coming in for a landing.
EU.edu. Thanks, Grand Canyon. The friend girls are completely different from the autopsy. Did you hear that? To you, Mrs. Robinson, according to the documents from the EMTs, she was declared dead 15 minutes after they got there. They did not get there and work on her for 3 hours like you were told. Yeah. She was declared dead within 15 minutes of the EMTs getting there, and the friends did not want her removed to the hospital. Do you understand that to be true now?
I
I understand that, you know, what was being said. You know, I don't know which way to believe. You know, I believe the autopsy, but the so-called friend, I just don't know what to say about them. I just think it was just terrible the way they done her, you know.
All of this from alcohol poisoning, but yet the autopsy does not say anything about alcohol poisoning leading to her death. It says, Dr. Kendall Crowns, she died of a spinal cord injury. What's that?
The spinal cord injury is basically your cervical spine is you get injuries to your cervical spine from severe rotation or blunt trauma that results in your head being moved suddenly to one side or another, and that causes fracturing of the cervical bones that then result in damage to the spinal cord that ultimately results in your death, or potentially quadriplegia, meaning you can't move anything below the neck down.
Doctor, I was having a hard time taking in what you were saying. I got it because I'm seeing out of the corner of my eye a video that has emerged. And it is a video of this beautiful young girl, Shanquella Robinson. She's 25. She's naked. She's by her bed. It looks like she's just gotten up out of bed. And a woman is beating her dead. I'm looking at it right now. Now, I don't know all the circumstances, but I know another person, and I just saw a female hand come up in front of the video cam. There's somebody recording this brutal attack, and they beat her until she's down, and she's just sitting there like completely out of it from the beating, like a rag doll. And then once she sits down, this attacker then beats her in the head, and her head is just catapulted over to one side. Could that be what happened to Shanquella, Dr. Crowns?
Yes. So in the video,
Now
you
hear
can
that?
see there's the initial.
That's exactly what we said happened. We saw it. So here we have other American people. So this help y'all out a little bit better to receive the information from these American people of the, look like this, saying exactly what we've been feeling, or saying and what we saw.
The one female is hitting Shanquella multiple times in her head. That at some point she grabs her with her arm and then twists her head and body in a kind of a rotational motion, and then Shanquella is dropped to the ground, and she continues to hit her in the head and neck area. But if you in the video, you notice that Shanquella is fighting back initially until
I disagree completely.
Thank
She's
you, Nancy.
shielding herself. She is not landing punches at all. I'm looking right at it.
She also.
Did y'all hear how that man tried to change it up? I say it was a fight, and I'm so grateful that Nancy stepped in there right away and said it was not a fight. Good for you, Nancy.
Said no.
Yes, you're right.
correct.
She never even had a chance to fight back.
Misstatement there.
Okay.
She was not fighting back. She was defending herself from the beating.
Like trying to hold her attacker back. She never gets a chance to defend herself. Mrs. Robinson, does she sleep without her clothes on?
Yes, she do.
So she was woken up out of her bed with one woman standing there videoing and the other woman hitting her like she's Muhammad Ali. And then the attacker, after she has beaten her, this defenseless naked girl who has just been woken up to a beating, she steps back and bows back like she's about to put her hands over her head like she's a champion. What is that, Dr. Bethany Marshall, psychoanalyst out of Beverly Hills? What is that behavior? She's crowing and preening for the video.
Nancy, it would be a mistake to think this is just one woman killing this poor 25-year-old.
Yes, it
I
was.
believe you and my lying eyes. I'm looking right at
Thank
it.
you,
No,
Nancy.
but I mean, when I say a mob attack, maybe there was one attacker, but this was a group aggression towards Shanquella.
Oh, okay.
Group aggression, because people are standing by, one
Yes.
person's videotaping, you can hear a voice of someone saying, oh, fight back, Shanquella. As if this was, like you said, Muhammad Ali. They're really minimizing the fact that this poor girl is being killed.
Wow.
Homicide, obviously. But what was this group aggression towards her that we're witnessing? Were they envious of her? Did she have a better life than them? I mean, this is how I think, as a psychoanalyst, is beyond the brutality of this murder.
And who in the hay is videoing her? Miss Robinson, do you know these women? Who are they?
I don't know the ones that's videoing her. I just know the one that was standing there beside Kalia Cook.
Wow.
And the other one, I didn't know him, the one that's saying fight back. I didn't know him.
Okay, hold on. Who is the person hitting her?
That's the DH girl. And I didn't know her. I just know they went to college together.
I've got Dejani Jackson. How are you saying it?
Wow.
I think it's I don't know how to pronounce her name.
I've got Dejani. That could be, it's a crazy spelling. I don't know what it is. It looks like Dejani or Dejanay.
Her name is Dejanay. Yeah,
That's
Dejanay.
it. Dejanay, because it's got A-E on the end. You're right. Dejanay Jackson. Then you've got Winter Donovan. And it's spelled. Is that another female?
Yes.
Then you've got Kalia Cook, the friend boy, the man.
Yes.
So it's those three and your daughter, Quella, correct?
Yes.
Guys, this is taking place at a very upscale resort in Mexico. And you can look out the window of their Quella's suite.
Wow.
It's beautiful. You
Yes.
look right out on the beach and the ocean, palm trees, sand. I mean, this is about less than 30 minutes from where you see Jennifer Aniston and all of her celebrity friends lounging and having a great time at Cabo San Lucas. That's where we're talking about. This is San Jose del Cabo. To you, Alexis Tereszcek, joining me, investigative reporter with Crime Online. Alexis, thank you for being with us. Where is this place?
This place is still on the coast at the very bottom of the peninsula. It is about San Lucas, but it is still right on the beach. And this place where they were staying was a private beach club. They had access to a private beach, very exclusive, behind a gate. You had to have security to get in. This is not a shack on the beach at all. It's a very, very fancy place that they were all staying.
I mean, it looks really nice from what I'm seeing. And that just goes to show Robert Crispin. Robert joining me, private investigator, former federal task force officer with the U.S. Department of Justice, DEA, now private.
Nancy got the team together here. We got investigative reporters. We got doctors. She got the people up in here. I'm so grateful that she is putting this polishing tip on it. So now we actually have, somebody a credible person. So hopefully, this is something acceptable to y'all, right?
Investigator at CrispinInvestigations.com. Robert, this goes to show you can be living in or staying in a 5-star resort and crime will find you. And it's very often those that know you the best.
Well, the sad part about it is everyone gives the warnings about going to Mexico. Something's going to happen to our kids when they go down there. But how do you fight against the people that you went there with when they're inside your room?
I want Gary Davidson to jump in. He is a partner with Diaz Royce International Law Firm at DiazReus.com. This happens in Mexico at this luxurious resort. Gary Davidson, I want you to hear our friend Erica Jackson at WSOC.
They all came to my house on Tuesday and explained what had happened.
Salamondra says Shanquella's friends blamed her death on alcohol. Then the Robinson family received a copy of her death certificate. It shows she died 15 minutes after injuring her neck and spinal cord. The report also states Shanquella was found unconscious in the living room, and her death is believed to be violent or accidental.
Violent or accidental? And then this video emerges. How can anybody say this is accidental? I mean, to you, Dr. Kendall Crowns, Chief Medical Examiner, Tarrant County, this is no accident. You see the beating. Now we know that she was dead 15 minutes after injuring her neck and spinal cord. Why? Why are you dead 15 minutes after the injury?
So usually with these type of spinal cord injuries, what she has is an atlas luxation, which means a dislocation of the first cervical vertebrae.
Do you mind saying that one more time? An atlas what?
It's an atlas luxation is what the cause of death is listed as. And what that is cervical vertebrae number one, the one right underneath your skull is the atlas. And it slid out of place.
Wow.
And then pushed on her spinal cord. And then usually what happens is it bruises the spinal cord, but the spinal cord bruises take a little time to set in before they kill you. So that's why you can see a survival time period of about 15 minutes. But in the video, after she is whipped about her head and dropped to the ground, to me, it doesn't look like she has any more purposeful movement, even though the other individual continues to pound on her.
Thank you.
That movement there is what killed her.
I need you to speak so we can all understand you, Dr. Kendall Crowns, not in your elocution, but describing this. So you're saying atlas luxation is cause of death, but you're referring to one particular spot just under the head. When that particular spot is dislocated or kicked out of the line of the spine, I'm extrapolating, are you saying the head is then no longer attached, the brain is no longer attached to, for instance, the heart and the other parts of your body that keep you alive?
Right. That's the area of the brainstem is where the cervical vertebrae number one or the atlas is sitting, and that is causing damage to the brainstem, which controls your heart rate, your respiratory rate, all the functions of your body. So it isn't necessarily completely separated, but it's bruised and damaged to the point that the individual dies. And that's why she has a survival time period, because it's damaged, not completely torn.
Well, of course, Gary Davidson is a high-profile lawyer that specializes in international law. Gary, the family knew in the first instant alcohol poisoning. Gary Davidson, take a listen to our friend Joe Bruno.
Shanquella Robinson's friends told her parents that she died from alcohol poisoning. That theory never sat right with her father, and he just, quite frankly, didn't buy it.
I know it wasn't no alcohol poisoning. I know it wasn't.
Shanquella's death certificate never mentions alcohol poisoning. It lists the cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. It says she died within 15 minutes of injury. In the box asking if the death was accidental or violent, the medical examiner wrote yes.
So, Gary Davidson, one quick round to Dr.
Yes, it's not an answer because it asks if, right? So there's more, and we had broke that down a few nights ago. John Q came up and showed how, that document, it wasn't even verified. There was no signature. And yes, it's not checking the box, which one. Yes, it's not the answer, right? They said, which one was supposed to be check the box that was applicable. So,
Dr. Kendall Crowns, I would like a yes/no answer to these. The autopsy said, did it not, that this atlas luxation was the cause of death, the COD? Yes, no?
Yes.
Isn't it true that in autopsies that tissue samples are taken and blood alcohol and toxicology panels are run? Isn't that true?
Yes.
And isn't it also true, Dr. Kendall Crowns, that those samples would have shown if Quella died of alcohol poisoning and also the toxicity in her body, her blood alcohol, correct?
Correct.
But it didn't mention that, did it, Dr. Crowns?
Not that I've seen.
It did not. So Gary Davidson, that leads me to this. Not only do they beat the woman, stand by and video this girl getting killed, they then lie about her cause of death to her mother.
Wow.
They lied about it. Now, is lying a felony? No, it is not. But doesn't it suggest to you, Gary, that they lied for a nefarious reason, and that reason being to cover up their involvement in her death.
Yes, absolutely. It very much appears that the stories being told to the family from the very get-go were not true. And it does raise the question of whether this was a pre-planned attack, whether it was organized not only by the person who committed it physically, but those around the room. And it's a sad day for the family, but it's also going to be a very, very sad day for these people because they are going to be implicated. They are going to, at a minimum, be witnesses in a potential criminal trial.
You got that right, Davidson. They're not just witnesses. And what you said really hits the nail on the head, Gary Davidson. Now I know why you're a high-profile lawyer specializing in international law. This was pre-planned.
Nancy, can I speak to that? Because I agree.
I mean, the woman is asleep in bed, and they come in with a video camera with Muhammad Ali over there in the corner ready to fight. They have this thing planned. They don't have to come over from North Carolina to San José del Cabo. If they planned it in the living room and went in there, this is a premeditated attack, just the way Gary Davidson is describing it.
I agree it's premeditated. And Nancy, what's going to be interesting is to look at their texts that they sent each other, emails, other forms of electronic communication, that they were planning this trip, that they were on the plane, that they were arriving at this resort. You know, you can premeditate something at an unconscious as well as a conscious level.
Okay, Dr. Bethany, you know I admire you greatly, but I'm talking about evidence that can come into court. What they were thinking about in the bathroom on the plane does not matter to me. What matters to me is what I can prove. But you're exactly right. I would look at every single text, email, communication between these people to find out if they wanted to gang up on her from the get-go when they all left to go to Mexico. And that's where you come in, Robert Crispin, about how we're going to get
and Nancy, the video?
Yes?
The video is another form of aggression. It didn't start just before the trip or on the plane or in their electronic communication. Someone videotaped that and then put it on the internet. You know why they put it on the internet? They wanted to further humiliate Quilla.
Showing her without her clothes on being attacked. I want you to hear in our Cut 10, our friends at WSOC, our Cut 10, please, Jackie.
Salamondra says she came across this video. Salamondra identified the people in the video as Shanquella and her Cabo travel partners. You can hear someone in the video ask if Quilla could at least fight back.
There was no fight. They attacked her.
Yes.
It was never a fight. She didn't fight. They attacked her.
Now, Salamondra says she has more questions than answers. She wants justice for her daughter.
She was a good child and had a great heart.
Yes, we saw
and
that.
She did not deserve to be treated like that.
Not at all. Not at all. Wow. Wow. This is very interesting. I appreciate, Nancy Grace for having all this panel of all these experts. Like we've heard from 3 different attorneys and a physician. And I'm just excited that we're getting this type of information out here like that. Let me take a moment here to shout out a few here. Cassandra Hopper says, Nancy got passion on this. Thanks for doing this because mainstream media is not giving it enough coverage. Yes, Cassandra, I was just saying that last week we were feeling like, we didn't have any proof if Dejanay had actually been arrested or what was going on with that. We had issues with the information that we were receiving from the source, like we didn't really approve of the Mexican reporter and the information that we were getting from there. And so I'm just grateful that we have a Nancy Grace, an American, and so now everybody could feel more comfortable, right? We could feel more comfortable. We could take her word here. Superstar Graham says, yes, I am happy that Nancy's covered this. Exactly. I think we all are very grateful because it was starting to feel a little bit, a little dim, a little grim that things weren't going to be happening here. Superstar Graham says, Nancy ain't playing. I know. All right, look at here. We got Nosy Ho live newsroom. I'll be live in the hour discussing this, so I'm here to catch up. Yes, we're kind of late on this here too. This was breaking news 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Yes, Miss Nosy Ho. All right. Nosy Ho over here being nosy. T. Taylor says, exactly, Nancy. Yes. Nancy was giving it to him. I was so appreciative too of her passion. Like, she was right on it. She wouldn't let none of that stuff get by, and good observation from her. Superstar Graham says, I hope that her mom is listening to everything and taking this in. Me too. I really do. Especially since, everyone is feeling connected to this. We are doing this for the victims. All right. Go off, Nancy. Let's see. Wow. Diabolical. Exactly. All right. For our copyright disclaimer, again, thank you so much. So people are, really coming to the forefront with this information, and it's good that we are all coming with the same conclusion, because we're the jury too, right? So we're getting this information, and everybody's able to form their own opinions on this situation here. All right, so I think we got a few more minutes here with Nancy. I think it's getting pretty good here, especially knowing that the FBI is looking at all this stuff here, to where, we don't have to worry about them getting away with this, because it sounds like it's already being investigated. It's just a matter of time. They're already it's already done. We're just waiting for things to catch up, right? So things take time. So I'm feeling good that we can relax and have faith that the good thing is going to happen for us. Commercial.
True crime fan destination.
With everything you have, our partner.
Parents, you have the power to prevent at least 6 types of...
And imagining my little girl being attacked and beaten dead like that.
Yeah.
Where did you find this video, Miss Robinson?
Online. Someone sent the video to us online.
Someone sent it to you?
Yes. When the video probably was, I believe the video was out before Shanquella actually had died, because someone called me and told me before they even arrived back to Charlotte from North Carolina that they was over there fighting her. So I didn't know how true it was. So after she got back, they got back, Shanquella had passed, the video had surfaced Facebook, and someone sent it to my family. It started coming out. The video started coming out.
That is a really big deal. Alexis Tereshchuk joining me, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. Alexis, is that correct? And I'm going to follow up with you, Crispin, about how I can prove it's correct. I can't just blurt it out it's correct without knowing. Alexis, is it possible these girlfriends post the video of Quella completely naked being beaten to her death in the bedroom before she's even pronounced dead?
Wow. Yes, and that's what the timestamps and the information that has shown up on different websites and where the video has been seen shows that it was almost like it was not a live broadcast, but really in real time happening. It didn't show up weeks later. It showed up almost immediately.
How can I prove that, Robert Crispin?
So this is one of the reasons that the FBI is involved now, because they have a unit called the extraterritorial unit for crimes when you get a request from foreign governments to help them investigate cases for crimes against U.S. citizens, which I'm sure you're very well aware of that. How we're going to prove this? Social media, it's all digital. And through subpoenas, we're going to get IP addresses. We're going to get who owns the phone that sent that. We're going to get the accounts. We're going to get everything. And it's just going to slowly start to unwind. On one, who owned the phone that shot that video, who posted that. And this case with that video is just probably the most key piece of evidence that any investigator wishes they had on so many other crimes. It's people just don't think. And social media has cleared so many crimes because people don't think and they want to brag about these fights.
Can you believe that they were putting this up online. Gary Davidson, high-profile lawyer, joining us from his law firm, partner with Diaz Royce International Law. I'm going to get to you in just a second about extradition, but I want to talk to you about the phenomena of posting your crime.
So according to, it sounds like to me that the FBI, that the Mexican authority reached out to this department of the FBI that can help them by giving this information to the Mexican authority as far as like the phone receipts and all that stuff. So, you know, it sounds very hopeful, very promising. Like, you know, we don't have to worry about if the Mexican authorities are going to do well, because they're going to be fed this case on a silver platter by the Americans. So that's how it sounds to me, right? Did y'all get that too? As far as like the one FBI gentleman, what he just said. And we had watched the short of that portion too. So to me, this kind of seals the deal to let me know that this is exactly how it's going down here. And see, Ty Lieber says digital data cannot be wiped. Exactly. And if that video was already out before, you know, it got to us a month later, you know, so I'm excited. Yep, there's a trail right there and no getting around it. Yep, super grateful that they were dumb enough to video
online.
it.
What kind of a sick killer would do that? They're proud of it. They're posting it.
It's a badge of honor.
Well, they can tell that to Satan, because I'm pretty sure that's where they're headed. Guys, not only that, the lying. Gary Davidson, haven't you seen in trial? You got the crime, but then
one of the guys supposed to have been her best friend, and he had went on family trips with us. You know, and he'd been to the family house. We all been on trips together. You know, just good time. And I never thought that he could be that low to do my child like that.
Have you heard from him since all of this happened?
Yeah, he came to the house 4 days in a row until he found out we knew what the autopsy said.
And you haven't seen him since?
Haven't seen him since.
So let me understand this, Mrs. Robinson. The friend, Clea Cook, comes to your house several times after they get home from their vacation.
Wow.
But as soon as the true cause of death comes out, this dislocation, the atlas luxation of the spinal cord, then he suddenly quits showing up. And I bet you haven't heard from any of them ever since you learned the true cause of death, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Because you know they're all lying.
Yes.
And they know that you know. What I don't understand is why the case is not moving forward. What's going on with the Mexican authorities? Take a listen to Our Cut 14, our friends at WSOC.
Investigators in Mexico now say they believe that Robinson was killed. It's significant because her parents said that they were originally told that she died of alcohol poisoning.
So if they know she was killed, she was murdered, what's the holdup, Gary Davidson?
The holdup is extradition. Extradition is a process where individuals are summoned through official channels between governments to return to the place where they are alleged to have committed a crime. And in this case, the Mexican government is seeking extradition of the individual who is accused of actually undertaking the attack on the victim. So there's a process, a court process that has to be followed by the United States government, and ultimately there is a treaty between the United States and Mexico.
Gary, I've done extraditions. It's really easy. It's not a long process. We in the U.S. have to arrest these POCs, these so-called friends on a girl's getaway. We got to arrest them. We take them to court, and there's just a couple of questions. You get their fingerprint, and you say, "Are you Gary Davidson?" And if the person says yes, it's all over, because you have a signed governor's warrant from Mexico. And all you need to do, you don't have to establish guilt or innocence. All they have to do is establish, are you Gary Davidson? And if you tell me no under oath, I compare your fingerprints, I see that it's you, and bye-bye. You got a chain on your hands, and you're on the way to Mexico. That's all there is. It's not a fact-finding investigation in court. It's very simply, are you Gary Davidson? That's all I want to know. That's all an extradition is. Then you send the person to the venue, the jurisdiction, to be tried. Isn't that right?
In most instances, that is correct. Of course, we're assuming that the U.S. government has been able to locate the individual that they're seeking, which is, not something you can always assume.
Gary, they're all over Facebook. How hard can it be?
Come on, Nancy.
One would think by now it would have been accomplished, but I'm not behind the scenes, so I can't answer beyond that.
Miss Robinson, he's right. Gary Davidson is correct. Miss Robinson, what are they telling you?
Well, they're not telling me anything. They're not even telling me whose name is on the arrest.
Wow.
But we know there's a one out there, and we're hoping that they relocate them real soon. We haven't heard any more.
Do you know where these girls are?
No. I have no idea.
Well, they went to college with her. They could afford a Mexican vacation. They had to have a passport. We've got to know where they live.
They stopped the passport. They know where each one of them live. All of them is somewhere hiding. No.
So then, so then that goes back to our first original question about who name was under arrest warrant, because according to them, even the mama don't know who they had the arrest warrant for. Like, we were just assuming that it was Dejanay, right? It could be for anybody. It could be for anybody. So far, we have, according to Nancy's report here, and I like her report because she's got, it's not just her. She got a bunch of credible witnesses or people on her panel. I'm very impressed with this pedigree here. It's really nice. But again, now we're back to square one with questioning who was the one who has been detained or arrested, or even if someone has been arrested. So yes, Superstar Graham says we have to keep the name out until it happens. Yes, and that's what we're doing here. Things are slowing down on it, definitely, for sure. So come on, Mexico. Yeah. So are we waiting for Mexico to ask for them? The rest of these people, what's going on? They're staggering so it can go into a cold case. Yeah, I hope not. But, this kind of thing has happened. It's so common. I think, you might be on to something, Poetic Kills, might be on to something. New name here. Sharada Niche says, Nancy is nobody's fool. Yes, she's on it too. As soon as they start trying to feed her a bologna sandwich, she's like not having it. And I like how she's, stopping it right away before they even get a chance to finish painting this narrative. She cuts it off and gets right back to the subject for sure. All right, here, see. Cookie says, Fed paperwork always take a long time. Yeah, I just feel confused about how we, feel like we took 2 steps forward, then all of a sudden this takes us back. Like, I thought that we was already past that paperwork, but obviously not. Superstar Graham says, why would they turn it into a cold case? So it could be another, woman that's, cold case, because we got so many of them that no one's really putting attention to this whole femicide thing. Nobody. So. Cassandra Hopper says, it is clear they committed multiple crimes in Mexico and it's time to extradite these criminals. Yes, but Cassandra, we only have heard that there's just a warrant for one. There was a warrant, one arrest, so I don't know. We have a few more minutes out of this video, and we'll see what happens at the end. But so far, it doesn't sound like anybody's really detained or anything like that. I think we're still kind of, I don't know. I don't think anybody's been detained.
As soon as the true cause of death comes out, this dislocation, the atlas luxation of the spinal cord, then he suddenly quits showing up. And I bet you haven't heard from any of them ever since you learned the true cause of death, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Because they're all lying.
Yes.
And they know that What I don't understand is why the case is not moving forward. What's going on with the Mexican authorities? Take a listen to Our Cut 14, our friends at WSOC.
Okay. Investigators in Mexico now say they believe that Robinson was killed. It's significant because her parents said that they were originally told that she died of alcohol poisoning.
So if they know she was killed, she was murdered, what's the holdup, Gary Davidson?
The holdup is extradition. Extradition is a process where individuals are summoned through official channels between governments has to be followed by the United States government, and ultimately there is a treaty between the United States and Mexico.
Gary, I've done extraditions. It's really easy. It's not a long process.
All right, we heard that.
That's all I want to know. That's all an extradition is. Then you send the person to the venue, the jurisdiction, to be tried. Isn't that right?
In most instances, that is correct. Of course, we're assuming that the U.S. government has been able to locate the individual that they're seeking, which is not something you can always assume.
Gary, they're all over Facebook. How hard can
I think they just looped
soft,
it.
delicious bread. You
Okay,
expect
so
to cereally.
we're about done with that. Wow. Thank y'all for getting through this with me. 48 minutes of this here interview, and I don't know about you, but I feel like we're still back at the same question. Has anybody been detained from this here? Like, what is really going on? So, and I appreciate the comments here. Let me find that one that what you're seeing here, Poetic Kells. That they're staggering so it can go into a cold case. Because we do have a ton of cold cases out there. We've been talking about the names of other victims and stuff like that. And this is probably how this happens when, nothing's going on and it turns into a cold case, turns into a cold case. Yeah. Super sad, super sad. And even just today, I got on a line. Like I said, I've been trying to make sure we try to include other victims in this so we could get justice for all the people in the past that, the old cold cases, the existing cold cases. So if we keep talking, then we could warm up those cold cases. We can warm up those cold cases by going back and looking. Especially now with more advances and stuff like that, there may be some things on some of those cold cases that we could bring to light and actually change some of those cold cases to hot cases and get some much needed justice. Superstar Graham says, I don't understand the cold case. Like a case that goes cold, is that what you mean? You don't understand? Like, say there's a case, when it first come out, like how everybody was excited about this, not excited, but alert about this case. After so much time goes by, they will determine that the case is cold. So it gets put on the back burner, it gets put in the file and, collected until, somebody's excited about it again and try to do something. So let's see here. Cold case, Kanika Jenkins cold case, Tamla Horsford cold case. Thank you so much for speaking those names out here. This is what we're talking about. These are now considered cold cases. Kanika Jenkins, when she first came out, we were all talking about it. And then now it's been so long that it's cold, nobody even speaks of it. It's cold, and these were sad femicides also. So yeah, it's important that we keep talking about this. And let me go ahead and I'm going to read the definition of this whole term femicide too, so we can always stay focused on the true points and stuff like that, and not get distracted. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the link too, in case somebody want to explain what they were saying. Sometimes, like I said before, things get lost in the text, and we may be saying the wrong stuff. And what I'm gonna do I'm I know when we first got started here, we was all into sage and, you know, being positive and all that good stuff. So since, you know, this is kind of a sensitive subject, and I know we're all here for help and stuff, I want to burn a little bit of sage just to get a little bit of good energy going in here, since, you know, we kind of walking by faith right now, for real, for real. And we want to give this moment to these cold cases, Kanika Jenkins and Tamala Horsford, and for good energy and good spirits to come on us for all of this stuff here. Oh, so it goes unsolved. Yeah, Superstar Graham, you're from Australia, right? So maybe the term or that actual word, y'all may not use that there. So yes, it goes unsolved, basically. Exactly right. Here we go for that. I never heard of cold case before. Yes. And thank you too for your question like that too. So we see that we all on the same page here. It goes unresolved and never spoke of again. Yeah. The other thing too. Cookie says usually cold cases equals no suspects or video evidence leading to suspects. Yeah, or also too, I'm going to show y'all something. I want to show y'all something. First, let me just do that. I'm going to read the definition of femicide, because all this is kind of tying in together, right? Because women have been being unalive for so long, and these abusers have been getting away with it. They've been getting away with it because of how society is set up to protect the men and not really give much regard to women's, you know. So we were even saying here, does women's lives matter? You know, because a lot of this, you know, is focused at us, and no one's speaking up for us. So that's why we have, you know, Poetic Kells here, you know, making sure that we continue to put these names out of these other victims so they don't go cold and never get heard of again. So let me see here. The definition of femicide. All right, so let me share the screen too so we can see. And I did drop the link, I believe I did. Did I drop it? Let me do it again before I even forgot. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to go over here and pin it. So if anybody wants to come up and give a testimony too, we've had a lot of success with people coming up to give their testimony on this whole thing. All right, so here we go with femicide. It says femicide. Wikipedia says femicide or femicide is a hate crime which is broadly defined as the intentional killing of a woman or girl because they are female. But definition, and this is new because last time we were reading, we had a different definition up here. Let me see here. This is a Wikipedia definition. But definition of it varies depending on culture, context. In 1976, the feminist author Diane E. H. Russell first defined the term as the unaliving of females by males because they, where am I at? Because they, where's my at? Oh, because they are female. Others broaden the meaning of the term by including the unaliving of females by females. In the main Central American countries where organized crime is prevalent issues, the term femicide is used in reference to the violent unaliving of women and girls, which are frequently perpetrated by gang members. A crime which is primarily committed in order to to stoke fear and compliance among civilians. Yes. All right. So we got that definition there. And the reason why I wanted to put it out there is because they made a point to mention that it was a femicide. I got some. I'm behind. Let me catch back up here. All right. Okay. Did that. There's that link there for anybody want to come up. Oh, an American. Okay. All right. Oh, I see. All right. Superstar Graham says, but this can't be a cold case because it's on video. But I'm sure she's meaning because, like, if no one gets arrested for it, then the case can grow cold. Let's see here. Cookie 4XO says, and can't be a cold case because there's an arrest warrant already. Teresa Edwards, hey, Teresa, let's get them detained, arrested before we worry about a cold case. Somebody knows where these people are. Ain't no group of Black people been able to hide forever. We got to keep the noise going. Yes, thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. And that's what we're trying to do here. And it is starting to feel like it's a struggle because you got the people that's trying to shame you for even talking about it, saying that you're capitalizing on it. And I want to say, yes, we are capitalizing. We're capitalizing to make sure that we can get justice for the other women that this is happening by. So yes, we are capitalizing on this because people are talking about it. So that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to take advantage of this so we can get more justice for the other women who have not received justice and the other victims who have not received justice. Like we saw John Q told us about, one of the cases that was for a young man who was missing and stuff too. So Poetic Hell says, no suspect in custody and videos magically vanish. That's true. Then we get distracted because they start telling us that there's other videos and things like that. So that's why it's important that we stay focused on the real information and keep putting that out. Cookie 4X says that Tamala case hurts my soul. I don't think I know that case. I'm just going to type it up real quick. All right, see what we get here. Here's something that's just 5 minutes. We're going to take a peek at this. This video is no longer available. All right, I'm going to find that video and see about what's going on with her. Anybody tell me what's going on with it? Anybody know? I'm so glad social media has been on this. Me too. Me too, for real. All right, here's a story on her. I'll just read it then. All right, I'm going to share the screen here. And this is... all right. So it says the death of Tamala Hosford on November 4th, 2018. Tamala Hosford was discovered unalive in the backyard of a Cummings, Georgia home where she had been attending a slumber party with other football moms. The night before, the 40-year-old was, so this is an older woman. The 40-year-old was a mother of 5. The Forsyth County Sheriff Department initially ruled the unaliving an accident. So we don't even, there's nothing, okay. Wow. Yeah, so that's why people are having these feelings like that. It's because, we could probably just continue to go on and on and on with more and more people that this has happened to that's all of a sudden now a cold case. Teresa Edwards says, do we really expect the authorities to have anything solved quickly in the Black community? Yeah. Good point. So we just have to stay patient, y'all, and do what we've been doing all these years. Pray. All right. And Poetic Kel says, no, I don't expect authorities to have a speedy solution in the Black community. And that's why Poetic Kel's is, making sure that we keep talking about this too, because we know that there's no speedy solution, for us in our community. And that's why we're doing this stuff, so we can stay focused on it, to make sure that, we start to change that narrative, change it by changing our mindsets too. Superstar Graham says, I wonder if we can start an investigation group. That's kind of like what we're doing here by taking this material and kind of dissecting it together. We're coming up with different perspectives. Everybody's offering something to the community here. And, we're coming up with stuff like the whole gender thing. All these different things are coming up, and it's making a big impact on us. Big impact. Superstar Graham says, maybe we can find them. Yeah. I know, because somebody has to know where they're at. Hey, M. Mac, we are advocates for justice. Exactly, we are. And I appreciate all of you guys. I believe the key is getting Khalil Cook in for questioning. He has the most emotionally invested in Quella. Yeah, but he seemed to be the most ruthless, right? The most cold. Superstar Graham says, how can we find them? I know they probably have different phones and all that stuff, so we don't have a way to track them. I guess by following the people that they know, once they get an opportunity to get access to their old phones and stuff, they could probably track through the contacts and all that stuff, Tanya Carter says, I'm a little behind. Your channel is not capitalizing off of this story. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Also, you are not getting this cash app like other channels. I just got started here. I'm not, just 2 weeks ago, I had like 979 subscribers and 800 watch hours. I wasn't doing anything on this channel. And then I started to, I felt something about this story, and I started doing these lives on it. And, things have been growing, but my passion is to help people. I have a background of nursing, more than 30 years in nursing. Nursing is all I've ever done. And I've always said that 90% of nursing is caring. So it's my passion that I care. And I know we all know somebody who is a cold case, or know somebody who has a person in their life who's a cold case, so I want to be able to lift our voices so we can help people capitalize off of this story. Yes. Yeah, people, there was a comment. Somebody said that, and super sad. Teresa Edwards says, even if they have one, where is everybody else? You're telling me nobody, no families or friends have seen them? How are the others hiding? Who knows? I would say that since they probably felt so comfortable by being allowed to be able to come back, and that, feeling like they probably don't have to be arrested here because they did commit the crime in another country, maybe part of them is feeling kind of relaxed, and they just kind of went wherever they were going to go freely, since nobody was really watching them. So I don't know. Tanya Carter said, isn't John Q doing an investigation as he got Kanika Jenkins, misspelled her name, sorry. Let's go over see what John Q is doing or said on there. If nothing else, we could at least watch his Kanika Jenkins report. YouTube. Yes, to shed some light on these cold cases so we can start warming them up. Yes, here. Let's see, John Q. And let's see what he's got for Miss Tanika. Okay, here we go. All right, so here's one here. And since her name has been mentioned a few times, I'm going to just read a few more of these comments, and then we're going to take a look at this one. It's a 40-minute long video. And so y'all know we do long stroking here to really get down to the meat of stuff. I believe the feds know exactly where they are or are likely to be. I agree. I think they're just waiting, to finish compiling their case and stuff. Like they feel like, we don't need to pick them up just yet. We're going to build the case, because a lot of times if you probably rush to an arrest, that's how a lot of times charges and things don't stick. So I'm sure they're building their case to be, make sure it's a solid case. I don't suppose, or I don't think that this could go cold because of so much media. But again, look at these other cases. I'm pretty sure Miss Jenkins' case, Kanika Jenkins' case was, out there, because I feel like I kind of remember hearing something about this a few years ago. So I'm sure everything starts off hot and passionate, but after a couple of weeks go by, people be moving on to the next thing, and then it's always some next person under there too. MMAX says, I don't believe it's an issue of finding them. It's about gathering information and doing it correctly. It's about getting a solid conviction and the prosecution withstanding all appeals. I agree with you, MMAX. Yes, I agree. Poetic Hell says, how much information do they need when the whole world saw the video? Yeah. John Q is not any of the original members who was invested in the Kanika Jenkins case. Who else do you know about? Tell us. So he ain't credible. Well, we haven't seen this video yet. I appreciated all of the offerings that he gave when he came up on this platform. Let's see. Teresa Edwards says, yes. How much info do they need? Can't prosecute without having a personal to prosecute person. Yes. All right. Tanya Carter says, remember they are free citizens at this point. There has only been one warrant issued. Exactly. And then there was another story that said it was 2. So I don't know. All right. So let's see here. Okay, here's one that's only 23 minutes. He's got a few. Let me just share the screen and we're going to scroll down and we'll pick one that's not too long, since we already been going for an hour and a half, and then I'll be wrapping it up shortly. All right, so here's John Q's page here. And all right, so it's a lot of Kanika Jenkins here. Here's Kanika Jenkins' case. More here. And 40, 23. Oh yeah, he's got a lot of work here. So he's done some research. All right, so I'm going to do this one here. This one's only 17 minutes. And it's Kanika Jenkins' case. We have some answers. This is part 1. All right, what we got over here? Superstar Graham says, I'm seeing Kanika Jenkins. I don't really see that at a crime. I don't really see that as a crime. Superstar Graham says, just my opinion. I read the autopsy report and nothing came up that was fishy. Tanya Carter says, they have said someone locked her in the freezer. Oh, okay. I do remember this. That she was, let's see here. Regurgitated information. Okay, let's see here. All right, so let's go ahead and, I don't know. I think I'm just going to go ahead and wrap it up because I want to at least view the video first before I just play it. And then, especially since I feel like we got some sensitive energy here poetic tales, like you're, maybe you have some more information or some more leads that you want us to check out before going here, since you had some concerns here. See, Junq is not any of the original members who was who was invested in the Kanika Jenkins case. This here is these YouTube videos he has here from 3 years ago, and there's quite a few. So I'm not sure. Maybe maybe he's just somebody that you didn't know about, but this is a lot of information here. 3 years ago, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 videos dedicated to her. So no one else showed her on camera, though. Yeah, I'm not sure if we should do this one. Thank you, Tanya. I mean, no one else was on camera but her. Okay. All right. So I sure appreciate y'all. I'm just going to wrap this up, and I thank everybody for coming to support and to stay positive about this thing, all that good stuff. All right. Superstar Graham says we should look at the case in Mexico with the carbon monoxide. Okay, we'll do that. We'll set that one up for tomorrow. And I sure thank y'all for feeding me the seeds and all these good things too. And I look forward to seeing y'all in another video. Thank you so much. Love y'all. Peace.